She doesn't love you because you're kind. She doesn't stay because you provide. She doesn't respect you because you gave her the world. She only submits when she feels your absence more than your presence. That's the forbidden truth no one tells men. The truth the weak are too afraid to face. Control has never been about brute force. It has always been about psychology. And women are wired to respond to psychology more than anything else. Because a man who can control her mind automatically controls her body, her loyalty, her desire, even her future. Most men beg, chase, and plead. The Stoic man withdraws, waits, and commands. Ask yourself, which one are you? The mirror, think back to the last time she pulled away from you. Maybe she said the dreaded words, "I need space." Maybe her text slowed down. Maybe she started posting herself online, dressed up, smiling, but not with you. And what did you do? Be honest. You panicked. You double-texted. You demanded answers. You tried to remind her of how much you cared. You thought love was enough to keep her. But love was never the issue. Power was. She didn't distance herself because she stopped feeling. She distanced herself because she no longer feared losing you. That's the hidden battlefield. And most men lose it without even realizing they stepped onto it. Because here's the paradox of women. The moment she feels you need her more than she needs you, you've already lost. Dark lesson 1. The first hack, scarcity and withdrawal. Every man fears this moment. When the woman he loves looks at him like he's ordinary. When his presence feels safe, predictable, boring. That is the moment her mind begins searching for escape. Imagine a man named David. For 2 years, he gave his girlfriend everything: attention, gifts, endless validation. He thought consistency would win her devotion, but slowly, she stopped appreciating it. The good morning text went unanswered. The surprises became expectations. The attention felt suffocating. And then one day, she told him she needed time to think. But the truth? She was already thinking about someone else. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." Women's desire is outside your control unless you master psychology. And the first law of psychology is simple. Humans only value what they fear losing. When you're always available, always present, always predictable, you destroy scarcity. And without scarcity, desire suffocates. Consequence, if ignored. If you don't learn this, you will forever chase. You will forever watch her slip away, confused as to why your love was never enough. You'll keep asking, why does she pull away when I give more? Because abundance kills value. And you made yourself abundant. Secret advantage if applied. But here's the hack. Withdraw. Create silence. Introduce mystery. When you stop being everywhere, she feels the vacuum. The absence gnaws at her. Her brain begins to spiral. Why isn't he chasing? Did he lose interest? Did I lose him? That's when her desire reignites. That's when she reinvests. Not because you begged, but because she feared your absence. This is why the Stoic man remains calm, even in silence. Because silence isn't weakness. It's the sharpest blade in his arsenal. Scarcity is only the beginning. It plants the seed of control. But what comes next is darker. Framing her emotions so she feels exactly what you want her to feel without ever realizing it. That's hack number 2. And it's where real psychological domination begins. Part 2. Scarcity was the first weapon. When you withdraw, she begins to chase. But here's the truth. Silence alone is not enough. You can starve her of attention, yes. But if you don't control the frame of her emotions, she will eventually find someone else to feed her hunger. That brings us to the second hack. One so subtle, so dangerous, that she won't even realize it happening. It's called emotional framing. The mirror scenario. Picture this. She tells you she's going out with her friends. You feel jealousy boiling inside. You want to say, "Why didn't you invite me?" Or "Be careful." But if you react this way, you've already lost. Because the moment you reveal insecurity, the frame shifts. You've put her in the position of power. Now she decides whether you are worthy of reassurance. But a Stoic doesn't play that game. He rewrites the rules. Instead of asking, he makes a statement. Don't get too wild out there. I like you better when you keep your energy rare. Read that again. He didn't beg. He didn't protest. He framed her night out as something she needed to live up to. And just like that, the power shifted. Dark lesson 2, emotional framing. Here's the bitter truth. Most men live inside the frame women create. They accept her moods as law. If she's cold, they chase harder. If she's distant, they beg. If she tests, they collapse. They become passengers in a car she's driving. Take Michael, for example. His girlfriend often complained, "You never give me enough attention." Instead of questioning the frame, he accepted it. So he began texting more, planning more dates, showering her with more effort. And what happened? She grew colder. Why? Because by accepting her complaint, he validated her frame that he was failing. He submitted to her emotional world. Instead of commanding his own, Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." This is the essence of framing. Reality is not fixed. It's perception. And whoever controls the perception controls the relationship. With emotional framing, you stop reacting to her moods and start making her moods react to you. Consequence if ignored. If you don't learn this skill, you will always live in her movie. You'll be the side character, waiting for her to decide how the story ends. You'll keep asking, "Why do I always feel like I'm not enough?" Because you surrender the frame. Secret advantage if applied. But when you apply this hack, something powerful happens. She begins to calibrate her behavior around you. If you frame yourself as rare, she will treat you as rare. If you frame yourself as a prize, she will fight to win you. Think of it as hypnosis without the trance. A single sentence, said with calm conviction, rewires how she sees herself and how she sees you. Modern application, the weaponized frame. How do you use this in daily life? Reframe complaints. When she says, "You don't spend enough time with me," don't apologize. Say, "That's because I want the time we do spend together to feel special." Now her complaint becomes validation. Reframe testing. When she asks, "Why are you so quiet?" Say, "Because I don't waste words. When I speak, I mean it." Now silence becomes power. Reframe jealousy. If she flirts with another man in front of you, don't explode. Smile and say, "He seems nice. I like seeing how much attention you attract. It reminds me why you're mine." Suddenly, she feels guilty because your frame turned her test into a compliment. Reframe scarcity. If she accuses you of being distant, don't deny it. Say, "I give my energy carefully. Only the people who matter to me receive it. That's why you get it." Do you see the pattern? You're not reacting, you're reframing. And every time you do, she steps deeper into your psychological gravity. The paradox of control. Here's the paradox women can never escape. They chase the man who defines their emotional world, not the one who reacts to it. The weak man lives in her storm. The stoic man makes her storm orbit his calm. That's emotional framing. That's the second hack. But framing alone only bends her perspective. What if you could go further? What if you could make her obsessed with solving a mystery you never reveal? And it is the most addictive of them all. Part 3. Scarcity makes her chase. Framing bends her emotions around your calm. But what if you want more than attraction? What if you want obsession? The kind that keeps her awake at night, checking her phone, wondering what you're thinking, where you are, who you're with. Then you need the third hack. The one weapon every stoic master of psychology carried like a hidden blade. It's called control mystery, the mirror scenario. Imagine this. She sends you a long message, paragraph after paragraph about how she feels, what she wants, what's wrong. Most men reply instantly, explaining themselves, justifying, trying to calm her storm. But the stoic man, he lets the storm pass. He waits, hours, maybe a day. And when he finally replies, it's one line. "I hear you. Let's see where this leads." No over-explaining, no validation, no neediness, just silence, patience, and control mystery. Now her mind races. What is he thinking? Is he angry, calm, losing interest, or planning something bigger? The silence becomes the hook. The mystery becomes the addiction. Dark Lesson 3. The third hack, control mystery. Here's the brutal truth. Predictability is death to desire. The moment she can predict every move you make, every word you'll say, every reaction you'll give, her brain shuts off. Because the human mind is wired for novelty, and women are slaves to curiosity. Consider Alex. For months, he followed the same pattern with his girlfriend. Texting every morning, calling every night, same routines, same energy. At first, she loved it, but slowly she lost interest. Why? Because she could see the end of the story before it began. One day, Alex decided to change. He stopped texting good morning. He took longer to reply. He ended conversations first. And sometimes, he simply said, "I'll talk to you later," without explaining where he was going. At first, she grew frustrated. But soon, frustration turned to obsession. Her brain couldn't handle the gaps, the unknowns, the silence. And just like that, the power shifted. Seneca once wrote, "It is a quality of a great man to be content with himself and not to depend on others for his happiness." When you embody this truth, you create mystery, because a man who does not need to explain himself radiates authority. Controlled mystery is not about being secretive for no reason. It's about leaving just enough uncertainty to make her mind chase the answer. Consequence if ignored. If you don't master this, you'll always be the open book. She'll read you, close the cover, and look for a new story. She'll know exactly when you'll text, exactly how you'll react, exactly what you'll do. And predictability breeds boredom. Boredom kills attraction. Secret advantage if applied. But when you embrace controlled mystery, something primal awakens in her. She starts looking for clues, analyzing your tone, overthinking your silences. Every unanswered question becomes fuel for her desire. You become the puzzle she must solve. And in trying to solve you, she invests deeper and deeper. Modern application. How to use controlled mystery. Silence a strategy. Don't answer every text immediately. Let her wonder. Delay responses not out of spite, but out of calm control. Minimalist replies. Instead of paragraphs, give her fragments. Not cold, but mysterious. Example. She asks, "What are you up to?" Weak man. Nothing much. Just working, watching a show, planning to go out later. Stoic man. Handling things. You. Unfinished thoughts. Drop statements that create curiosity loops. Example. There's something I've been thinking about, but I'll tell you later. Now her mind can't rest. Controlled absence. Occasionally disappear, not in a destructive way, but strategically. Skip the good morning text. Cut the conversation short first. Let her feel the vacuum. Unpredictable energy. Sometimes playful, sometimes serious, sometimes silent. Never the same tone every time. Predictability dies, mystery lives. The psychological effect. Here's the secret. The human brain hates open loops. When you give her unfinished statements, delayed responses, unexplained silences, you create loops she desperately wants to close. Her brain burns calories trying to solve the mystery, and the more energy she invests, the deeper her attachment grows. Controlled mystery doesn't just keep her interested, it keeps her addicted. The paradox of mystery. Here's the paradox. The less she knows about your inner world, the more she imagines, and her imagination will always be more powerful than reality. That's why controlled mystery is the third hack. Not brute force, not over-explaining, but subtle silence, strategic unpredictability, and the mastery of leaving questions unanswered. Scarcity made her chase. Framing bent her world around yours. Mystery made her addicted, but obsession alone isn't enough. If you want true control, you must go deeper. The fourth hack strikes at the very core of her identity. It makes her question who she is and forces her to prove her worth to you. That's where the real domination begins. Part 4, hack number 3, the power of scarcity. She wants what she thinks she can't have. You want to know the fastest way to make a woman chase you? It's not money. It's not looks. It's not even charm. It's scarcity. Scarcity is one of the most powerful psychological triggers ever discovered. When something feels limited, rare, or slipping away, Our brain assigns extraordinary value. And here's the dark truth. Women are no different. The painful truth. Most men destroy their own value by being too available. They text back instantly. They rearrange their entire schedule just to see her. They beg for her attention without realizing it. And the moment you're too available, you become common, replaceable, cheap. You've turned yourself into a product on the discount shelf, screaming, "Take me, I'm easy to get." But what do humans do with things that are easy to get? We take them for granted. Imagine this. A woman meets two men. Man A, he's kind, available 24/7, answers every text within seconds. He cancels plans for her. He's predictable, safe, and reliable. Man B, he's warm when he's there, but he's not always available. Sometimes he takes hours, even days, to respond. He seems busy, engaged in his own mission. When she finally sees him, his presence feels rare. Which man does she obsess over? Not the one who's always there. She craves the one who isn't guaranteed. Why? Because scarcity creates tension, and tension creates desire. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Value is created in proportion to rarity." The Stoics understood that human beings don't cherish abundance. We cherish what we believe could slip through our fingers. A Stoic man then must learn the art of being present, but not predictable, available, but never desperate. Dark psychology framing. Scarcity hacks her biology. Her brain is wired to detect social value by how in demand a man appears. If you're too free, too easy, too ready, you're telling her, "Nobody else wants me. I'm not busy. I'm not rare." But if you withhold your time, if you make her wait, if you disappear just enough to make her wonder, her mind fills the silence with obsession. Why hasn't he replied? Is he with someone else? Why doesn't he need me? Why she can promise loyalty, then fall for the one who keeps her off balance. If she can predict you, she can control you. And if she can control you, she will lose respect for you. A story, The Rock and Storm. There were two men. The first was like a rock, reliable, stable, always there. At first, the woman adored it, until she grew restless. She began to crave something else, something unpredictable, something that would stir her blood. The second was like a storm. One moment calm, the next intense. Sometimes available, sometimes distant. He didn't do it out of malice. He lived by his own rhythm. She couldn't read him, couldn't control him. Guess which man she obsessed over? The storm. Because chaos, when controlled, creates addiction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like a cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the waters around it." The Stoic man is unshakable, but that doesn't mean predictable. You remain calm, grounded, and in control. Yet your actions contain an element of surprise. Your silence at times. Your intensity at others. Your refusal to live in a pattern she can map. Stoicism is not sameness. It is strength cloaked in mystery. Dark psychology principle. Here's the secret. Chaos creates chemical addiction. Uncertainty spikes dopamine in the brain. This is why casinos thrive, why gambling addicts can't stop, why intermittent rewards trap people more deeply than guaranteed ones. Apply this to women. Sometimes you text back instantly. Sometimes you vanish for hours. Sometimes you're affectionate. Sometimes you're cold and distant. Never cruel, never abusive, but always unpredictable. Her brain learns, "I don't know what I'll get from him today." And that uncertainty keeps her hooked. The consequence, if ignored. If you're always predictable, she will eventually classify you as safe. Safe means boring. Safe means controllable. Safe means forgettable. She may still keep you around, but she won't crave you. She won't lose sleep over you. And eventually, she'll search for her storm elsewhere. When you master control chaos, you own both sides of her emotions. Your warmth makes her melt. Your coldness makes her chase. Your unpredictability makes her obsessed. And here's the beauty. She will justify it to herself. She'll say, "He's so complex." She'll tell her friends, "I can't read him, but I love it." She'll convince herself that your chaos is what makes you irresistible. How to apply the chaos principle today. Break patterns. Don't always answer texts at the same speed. Don't always initiate plans. Keep her wondering. Switch emotional energy. Be sweet one day, withdrawn the next. Let her feel contrast. Change rhythm. Surprise her with intensity when she expects calm. Be calm when she expects intensity. Disappear strategically. Go silent, not out of anger, but out of focus on your mission. She will fill the silence with obsession. Reward the chase. When she leans in, give her what she wants, but pull away before she expects it. Intermittent rewards forge unbreakable loyalty. The chaos principle is not about losing control. It's about wielding it. You are not the man who creates drama. You are the man who creates tension. A tension she can never escape. A tension that binds her emotions to you like chains she doesn't want to break. Predictability is weakness. Controlled chaos is power. Because when she cannot predict you, she cannot stop thinking about you. But there is one final hack, the most dangerous of them all, the one that goes beyond desire, beyond loyalty, beyond control. The hack that doesn't just influence her emotions, but rewires her very identity. Part 7, hack number 6. The identity lock, how to make her believe you are her destiny. Control over a woman's actions is temporary. Control over her emotions is powerful. But control over her identity, that is eternal. The greatest form of dominance is not to win her attention, not even her love, but to make her believe that without you, she is incomplete. This is the identity lock. And once it's in place, she will not just want you, she will need you. Women don't stay loyal to men. They stay loyal to the version of themselves they become with a man. If she sees herself as desired, special, powerful when she's with you, she will cling to you desperately. If she sees herself as ordinary, ignored, or diminished, she will leave you without hesitation. This is why weak men lose women. They never imprint her identity. A woman once dated 2 men. The first adored her. He gave gifts, compliments, endless affection. But in her heart, she still felt the same, average, replaceable, nothing new. The second, he rarely complimented. Instead, he mirrored her potential. He told her, "You haven't even begun to see the woman you could be." With him, she felt transformed. With him, she saw herself differently. Guess who she obsessed over? Not the one who gave her the most attention, but the one who gave her a new identity. Seneca once wrote, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." Apply this. A woman is not drawn to you as a man. She is drawn to the imagination of who she becomes with you. Your role, as a Stoic manipulator of identity, is not to inflate her ego, but to reframe her self-image. The identity lock works through 3 stages. Disruption. Subtly reveal to her that she is not yet living as her fullest self. Create dissatisfaction with her current identity. You're strong, but you still don't realize how powerful you could be. Reinforcement. Position yourself as the mirror to her best self. When you're with me, you're different, sharper, more alive. Dependency. Anchor her elevated identity to your presence. Without me, you'd slip back into what you were before. And you know it. This is not love. It is reprogramming. If you fail to control her identity, she will eventually leave. Not because of what you did, but because she no longer feels like her best self with you. She'll say things like, "I just don't feel like myself anymore. Something's missing." Understand, it's not about you. It's about how she sees herself when she's with you. But if you master the identity lock, she will not see you as just a man. She will see you as the architect of her self-image. When she feels beautiful, it's because of you. When she feels powerful, it's because of you. When she feels alive, it's because of you. And the terror of losing you will not be about losing your love. It will be about losing herself. That fear is a chain. That belief is a lock. How to apply the identity lock today. Stop simple validation. Don't just say you're beautiful. Say, other men see you as beautiful. I see the fire you try to hide. Create contrast. Compare who she is with you versus who she is without you. Subtly highlight the difference. Link growth to you. Every time she improves, remind her that your presence sharpened her. Withdraw strategically. When you pull back, let her feel the void not just of you, but of the self she becomes with you. Reinforce privately. Never overexpose this tactic. It must feel organic, not manipulative. The identity lock is the final stage of control. It transcends lust. It transcends attraction. It rewires her very self. Because here's the forbidden truth. A woman doesn't fear losing you. She fears losing the version of herself that only exists with you. And when that belief is anchored deep enough, leaving you won't just feel painful, it will feel impossible. But beware, once you control a woman's identity, you also awaken her deepest resistance. Some women, sensing the chains, will fight harder. Others will surrender completely. And this brings us to the final chapter of this journey. The Dark Stoic Mastery. Become the man who cannot be controlled. Part 8. Dark Stoic Mastery. Becoming a man who cannot be controlled. We've walked through the 6 hacks. Attraction, scarcity, silence, framing, chaos, identity. Each one powerful. Each one capable of bending her emotions, shaping her behavior, even rewriting her very sense of self. But there's one last layer. The crown. The principle that ties it all together. It is this. The man who controls most is the man who cannot be controlled. All manipulation collapses if you are still a slave to her attention, a slave to her beauty, a slave to her approval. Weak men read about tactics and try to play games. But deep down, they're still controlled by one thing, fear of loss. And any woman can smell it. You can fake confidence, but you can't fake detachment. A story, the untouchable general. There was once a Roman general, beloved by the people, feared by his enemies. When asked why he never seemed afraid of betrayal, he said, "Because I never believe anything belongs to me. Not my soldiers, not my wealth, not even my wife. All is loaned by fortune, and fortune may reclaim it." This is Stoic mastery. A man who owns nothing cannot be broken by losing anything, and that makes him untouchable. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, "You may leave this life at any moment. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Applied to women, she may leave at any moment. Her love may fade at any moment. Her loyalty may vanish at any moment. If this truth breaks you, you are weak. If this truth frees you, you are stoic. Detachment is not coldness. It is power. Here's the paradox. The less you need her, the more she needs you. Neediness repels. Detachment attracts. When she knows you can walk away, she will fight to make you stay. When she knows your world does not revolve around her, she will beg to be at the center of it. When she knows her love is not your oxygen, she will suffocate without your approval. This is the deepest psychological lever of all. Freedom creates control. If you fail to master detachment, everything else collapses. Scarcity becomes manipulation. Silence becomes weakness. Chaos becomes childish. Identity lock becomes obsession. For you, not her. You'll end up trapped by your own tactics, playing games you can't sustain. And eventually, she will see the truth, that you were never in control at all. But if you embrace dark stoic mastery, you rise above. You become the man who plays the game, but is never bound by it. You are the storm and the cliff, the fire and the calm. And she, no matter how powerful, no matter how rebellious, cannot control you. That's why she will submit. Not because you forced her, not because you tricked her, but because deep in her soul, she knows you are the rare man she cannot break. Modern application, becoming untouchable. Here's how to apply this today. Practice detachment daily. Remind yourself she is not yours. Her beauty, her body, her love, they are gifts, not possessions. Live your mission. Women orbit men who orbit their purpose. If she is your center, you're already lost. Prepare for loss. Visualize her leaving, cheating, betraying. If you can accept it now, you won't be broken later. Reward, never depend. Give her love freely, but never let it be your fuel. Your power comes from within, not her validation. Stay unpredictable, not to manipulate, but to remain untamed. She must never feel she has fully figured you out. The haunting truth. Control is not about her at all. It is about you. The man who conquers himself, his fear, his neediness, his illusions, conquers everyone around him. Because the final paradox is this: you do not control women by trying to control them. You control them by mastering yourself. And that is why most men will fail. They'll hear these hacks. They'll try to copy them. But they'll remain prisoners of their weakness. Only a few will rise above. Only a few will become untouchable. Only a few will embody the dark Stoic. And for those men, the world bends. Women bend. Even fortune itself bends. Because nothing enslaves a man who is already free. But the darkest truth still remains. If you think you've mastered women, wait until you learn how women master you without you ever realizing it. That is a story for the next video.